You see them every night anchoring the news on KATC, but I caught them on an off day, put a cocktail in their hands, and we talked shop. Jim Hummel and Marcelle Fontenot from the Town Square at River Ranch inside Pour Restaurant and Bar. This is Glass Half Full. Welcome in to Glass Half Full. Marcelle and Jim off the anchor desk. I must say, we are having Pour-ritas with ghost tequila. So by the end of this, we might all have red faces and we might be sweating, but it'll be fun. I managed to get you guys kind of off duty, okay? Not on the anchor desk, so don't worry, there's not going to be any anchoring under the influence. But welcome into Pour. This is Glass Half Full.
Thank you.
So,
do we have to get our glass half full by the time we start, or what's going on?
If your glass is not empty, I'll be judging.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, so I wanted to start this series to really talk to people who I thought were inspiring, who are really have a happy outlook on life in South Louisiana and Lafayette. Marcelle, you're from here. You've been around here forever. You've been the news lady on TV forever, your whole life. People comment on your hair, on your clothes, on your kids. I mean, luckily you have two really cute kids.
Let's just say that.
Yeah.
They are great.
I think back to when you were pregnant with Langston. Remind me of the story about the nuns who, heard that you might have had some, I don't think there were major complications, but, you had some worries.
They noticed that I was off the desk for a couple days. It was the 2 days before I had him. And they're sisters at the Sacred Heart. And so they call the newsroom and they're like, oh, we haven't seen Marcelle. Where is she? And that was the day I was delivering.
Wow.
And they told the person who answered the phone that they had been praying for me throughout my pregnancy. And so after Langston was born, I brought him to meet them.
Yeah.
We're due for a visit, actually. We go and see them every now and then just, to keep in touch. I thought if they could pray for me, for the 9 months of my pregnancy, the least I could do is just go by and say hello every now and then.
So, Jim, you're kind of like an adopted son of
Pretty
South
much,
Louisiana.
I think so. Yeah.
He's a local now.
You traded Buffalo and lake effect snow, which you taught me all about a long time ago, to now hurricane coverage and flooding and everything else.
Yeah.
Do you feel a sense of family when you see people out and about?
Absolutely, but I think that's one of the best things about Acadiana is you don't have to be from here to be welcomed in. And we've been doing these on the roads on Fridays for a while now, where we're going to different parishes and festivals and everything, and people are just so welcoming. And I think that's what's kept me here. Really, it's just such a welcoming community, and it's a fun place to live and work.
And one thing I will say about Jim, he learned how to peel shrimp.
Okay.
Unlike
recently?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man.
No,
I was about to say,
years
it's been
ago.
years.
It was a live shot at the Delcombe Shrimp Festival.
So you better know how.
I didn't know.
Oh,
You know
God.
what?
I ate an unpeeled shrimp on live TV, and I was like, this is so crunchy. Why would anyone eat this? But I was like, it's great. I love it. But after the fact, I saw the photographer just like collapse in laughter, and the lady who I was there with just looking at me like, oh my God, like what did he just do? And
He didn't know what he
I didn't know you had to peel shrimp. Up in Buffalo, like when you get shrimp, it's like a shrimp cocktail. It comes in a frozen bag with cocktail sauce.
Honey, that was right off the Gulf, thrown in some boiling water. You feel that.
But I've learned since then, I think. Yeah.
So this is a weird business that we're in, me by extension too, but in television, people start off their careers knowing like what they want to do, and they almost always want to be, the Today Show. Yeah. I'm going to be on NBC Nightly News tomorrow. And so you go through a series of moves and you stay for like a 2-year contract. Mm-hmm. If we did that by that measure with you, you're on number 5.
Number 5, yeah. I've been here 10 years in February, and I love it here. I think it's such a great place to live and work. And every time that I, come up and I, kind of look and see what's out there, but even talking to people who've been here and have left, they miss it. They
Mm-hmm.
want to keep coming back, and I think that says something about how special Acadiana is, really.
It does, because you came here and never left. You went to college in Baton Rouge.
And came back.
And then you came back and you knew you wanted to work in television here. Tell me about the public service aspect, because I know that's something you take really seriously, and you don't just get up there and read. It's not a play.
No,
it's not a
I mean, it's
performance.
different. Not that people who aren't from here, like Jim, don't relate, because you do when you live and work in a place. However, my heart's been here all my life. And so when I hear people talk about things that are going on, I'm like, yep, I know. I've been knowing that same problem since I was a kid, or old enough to understand that it was a problem. So staying here has been a choice. I feel like I do a better job because I can relate to the person on the other side of the camera. Not that if I went somewhere else that I would have to learn it.
Yeah.
But here it's just
But it wouldn't
embedded.
be genuine,
Right.
because you would have to learn, and people do get to know it.
But even from a news perspective, though, there's a lot of important news that
Happens
happens
here.
in Louisiana. That's something my parents are always pointing out to me is like, we've never heard of Lafayette before you moved there, but it seems like every 2 years there's a big story here, and it's a good place to get your feet wet, but also a great place to have a career.
And another thing that people, we think, oh, we're in Louisiana, or oh, we're in Little Lafayette, but things that happen in big cities and big markets happen here. They're on maybe a different level, a different scale, but we get the same type of situations that the rest of the world deals with.
And it's probably important to recognize that, even when it is a smaller company on a smaller scale. I think about some of the successes we see. Kids graduating high schools, kids getting 100 acceptance letters to college.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Is that what you like? I mean, I know you have to read it all. You have to read the good, the bad, and the ugly. But, towards the end of a newscast, when you have those stories that are really just meant to put a smile on your face, I mean, is that what keeps you going?
I think some of our favorites are when we hear from politicians and officials on a regular basis, but when you get people who are just in their element,
The real people.
Stop that MF-a.
That one,
Like
that's
her for that?
classic. That's still we talk about on a regular
Watch
basis.
every so often,
But when
yeah.
you get people who are in their element and they speak their native tongue and there's no, they're just who they are.
Yeah.
Those are the people who we remember more so than the soundbite from someone. And we need officials and we need that, of course. However, at the end of the day, it's the down-home, everyday, hardworking individual that makes it different.
And you have a lot of that here. I mean, sometimes it is the person that makes the story.
Oh,
You're
absolutely.
surprised sometimes going out.
Yeah.
And who you meet. Yeah.
This is a really interesting area, more than anywhere else I've ever been. And as you know, I'm a boomeranger. I started off here. You left for 7 years.
We won't
and
hold
then,
that
and then
against
came
you.
back. But it sort of seems like I never left because there are a lot. Besides the ambassador extension, which I still think is new, and I forget to go that way. It's been
there for a while, yeah.
Besides that sort of thing. So one of the things I always marvel at is how many great nonprofits in our area. It's like if you have a problem, you can't feel like you're alone here because so many people are doing great things. We did an event recently, Wine, Women, and Shoes for Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Acadiana. I know you've been very active in a bunch of different ways, and a lot of people don't know you actually moonlight on the staff of Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
I was a board member and a Big Sister years ago, and always it's just a near and dear program to my heart. I understand and have seen the benefits of mentorship. And so they were looking for what we call a match support specialist, someone who just kind of stays in touch with the big, the little, and the parent to make sure that things are going well and that the match is doing okay and the kid's getting what they need.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, I can do that. I mean, I know the agency, I know the program. Sure, I have spare time, is what I thought.
Yeah.
And I also thought, it would give me a break from news and give me something else to remember that the world is not just what I read day in and day out in news. And so I was like, sure, I'll do it. And I thought it would last a little less time than it has, but it's been 3 years. And the 3 years have flown by. I hear the stories, and most of these kids come from situations that adults couldn't imagine themselves in. Their situations are tough. And there are matches that sometimes don't work out as well, for whatever reason, the big moves, or maybe it just doesn't gel right. But for the most part, and we work very hard to make sure
That they are a real match.
yes, it's
gotta
an
fit.
extensive interview process of parent, child, and volunteer. But more so than not, you find that the children are just happy to have someone who's there for them. Not that mom and dad aren't, but someone to take them out of their environment, and it's all about them, and they get to forget and step out of real life for a little while.
Yeah.
And then once they're really comfortable, they now have a person that's a listening ear just for them alone.
She's really good at recruiting, too, for it.
I do my
We
best.
have
So
a
if
few on
anyone out
staff,
there
too.
wants to volunteer and be a big, give us a call.
I wanted to have you guys together because I think there's such an important thing to be said about a team. And trust me, I spend 6 hours sitting 3 feet away from Bernadette Lee every day.
Yeah.
We are each other's therapist. We are each other's biggest cheerleader and everything else. And I would imagine it's similar for you guys.
Yeah.
Jim, how is knowing her and having that relationship? Now let's
Be nice.
Let's be nice.
Yeah.
But make that transition because
I mean, she's great. When I came here, I was, the low guy on the totem pole, starting fresh in a place I didn't know.
bigger hair.
way bigger hair back
Yeah,
then.
curlier hair, yeah.
Curlier hair too.
I took his place. We
Stopped
swapped.
a little bit. Looks good. Looks way better on her than it did on me. But in the newsroom, we were sat right next to each other in our old newsroom. You were there.
Yep.
And we just kind of became neighbors and just developed this relationship, a cordial, professional relationship. And then she was my first co-anchor too. I started anchoring with Marcelle, how many years ago? 7, I think.
Yeah.
2012,
Yeah,
so
that's right.
7 years ago. And I think sometimes there's just that look. We don't have to talk very
Yeah.
much at all. I
Yep.
think that we kind of are on the same
You
wavelength.
know, we sit next to each other in the newsroom. You know, our desk, we literally sit just like this with
Just
our
like
computers.
this, yeah.
And I walk in and I think we detect each other's tone, whether it's just
away.
going to be a hey or let me tell you what. You know, we spill it all. And I joke that he's like my TV husband because he is.
Yeah.
There are
I
times.
don't always listen.
No, it's just a man thing. TV husband, real husband, you know.
She talks a lot.
But there are times that on the desk, it's such a comfort there. Like Jim knows when I'm done, whether if my read should continue or not, and he picks right up, and there have been those times. And it's so refreshing to work with someone who gets you and you get them too.
That's cool.
It just clicks, I
It
think is what it is.
does.
A lot of times, you know, the bumps in the shows, like the toss to commercial breaks, aren't always scripted the way they should, like who's gonna do it. And we'll get to that point where, you know, either Rob's wrapping up weather or Andrew on sports, and we're looking at each other like, okay, who's gonna take this? And every now and then we have a little bit of a stare off because we're just not, both of us doesn't want to do it, but we'll look at each other.
So it's
And
like
usually
a
she
game.
gives in first. But
Yeah. So there's like this dead silence. You know, there shouldn't be like
just that
silence.
1 second of silence that the
And I'm like,
viewer probably doesn't
fine.
even recognize. But
Yeah. Tell us about Rob Perillo.
Oh, Rob's the man.
He is.
Yeah.
He
The
is
man,
the
the
man.
myth, the legend. Yeah.
And just the same in my experience on TV as in
Oh,
real
yeah.
life, and just as caring.
He's-
How a heart that big could be contained
I
in
know,
someone so
and
small.
that guy, but it's so true. I
gonna
mean,
kill me for saying
we get on him sometime about being such a weather nerd, but
Yeah.
God, he
He
is.
is. Yeah.
But on the flip side, he's just a cool dude. Like he's so cool to just
Papa
hang out
Perillo,
with.
most
Yeah,
everybody
you know.
calls him, you know. And he hosts some killer pool parties.
He has the best party.
Yeah.
They're legendary.
Yeah.
All right, well,
They are, yeah.
I think I'm under contract with him to stop the conversation
Right
now.
there, before we talk
We'll
about
leave
how
it at
many
that.
times those pool parties have been like knock at the door by LPD kind of thing.
Jim Hummel and Marcelle Fontenot, Acadiana's so lucky to have you guys both every day.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thanks for
having
coming
us.
by.
Cheers.
Absolutely, we have some work to do here.
Great
You can
day.
find all the episodes of Glass Half Full at kpel965.com. We'll see you next time.
Glass Half Full is brought to you by Pour Restaurant and Bar, Service Chevrolet Cadillac, and shortandfat.com. Watch every episode of Glass Half Full online now at kpel965.com.